Little different video today. When I've done some of my previous giveaway selections where I've used like old Hot Wheels and model trains and stuff, it's drawn a lot of interest. And actually, when I first started my channel, I think in one of the first few videos, I said that part of the channel wasn't just baseball cards. It was also the nostalgia and other fun stuff centered around cards for those of us who grew up and collected in the 70s or 80s. So I still haven't figured out exactly how I'm going to do it, but for my 1,000 giveaway coming up pretty soon, I figure by about next month or so, I'll probably hit that mark. I was going to use my slot cars to somehow pick the winner. I still haven't figured out how, or pick the winners. So there'll be multiple winners. So this slot car addiction kind of started at one of those mall toy stores. I still remember me and two of my buddies were at one of those mall toy stores when we were probably 17. And they had like these $50 sets on sale for 19 bucks. These, 8.5 foot sets with two slot cars. It was Tyco. And we all looked at each other. We're like, man, I always wanted one of these as a kid. Where, we couldn't afford much of anything when we were growing up. And, my friends kind of similar. They, always wanted slot cars, but they never got any for Christmas or birthdays. So we each bought a set. So we put it all together, had about 25 feet of track, and there it went from there. We're like, wait, we need more track. So we went and got another set or two, and we're like, we need more straightaways. These sets are all turns. So, we went to Toys R Us, got a bunch of the packs of just straight track, and then we got the crossings and just went bananas over it. And then after high school, about 4 of us would get together at whoever's parents' house were like not there and move all the furniture outside and do like racing tournaments and everything. So here's one of the tracks. This is probably from, I'm going to say roughly around 1994. So there's all the furniture outside, everything moved out of the living room. And we discovered, I don't know how, that there was wide radius turns. So we got a bunch of those. So this is 4-lane racing here we set up, because just the regular 2 lanes, we kind of like, okay, this is getting old. But then 4 lanes is just pure insanity. So we took one of those 90-degree crossings, and instead of just, having a figure 8 track, we took the 4 lanes, split off 2 and 2, and then we found some 1/8 turns, and then sent the cars across and then brought them back together. But then we discovered that if you didn't switch the track back before the next controller, you'd have power to the other guy's track. So we, trial and error. And another thing we did too is we isolated all the circuits. So you didn't sit plugged in with somebody else, because we found out if you let off the trigger, all that power surged to the other guy and you'd fly off the track in a turn. So we'd have one guy here, one guy over there, one guy here, one guy here. So we had somebody in all 4 corners. And so this was, it's about roughly, and I still have all this. So everything just stayed at my house because I had the room to store it. I still have it all. It's, I need to set it up again. I haven't set it all up in probably a couple of years. And then as, eBay came along, there was things that we found that we were never able to find when we were kids, because it was kind of a little bit before our time, like the train crossing across the Tyco track. So I bought a couple of those, and then some chicanes, and then some 60s and 70s track that we got adapters for, squeeze tracks and different things that we incorporated. So this was our, we'd keep track of points and everything, and it's fun. So I'm going to just kind of go through. Need to throw on a hat. Well, I look like a mess. Maybe I won't be in the camera. This is the tackle box that we picked up to have all our cars in. And I'm going to start with a couple that our buddy Tony, he's about 4 years older than us. he modified and painted. So I don't know if you remember, I think it was in 1987 where Tyco came out with like the 25th anniversary Tyco car. It was an 87 Buick that was all kind of chromied, but the dang body style was the Grand National or Buick T-Type, which I said in a previous video, my friend had always wanted an 87 Grand National, finally bought one, I think in like 91 or 92. So we painted the two that we bought. So they painted, so our buddy Tony painted this up black to match what a Grand National looks like. Did an awesome job on it. So this is kind of what we call a show car. We don't race this because this, you know, flies off the track, hits the floor, loses all its paint, hits another car. So Tony did that. And then another one of our friends, Rich, bought a Buick, 87 Buick T-Type, which was essentially the Grand National, but wasn't black. And his was gray. So Tony painted this one up too. Painted up a 87 Buick T-Type. And then in those original sets that we bought, you got a red Trans Am and or that black one, a red Trans Am and a black Trans Am. So we ended up, we had like 4 of each of these. We've destroyed some just because we had so many of them. So those are the ones that came with those original sets. Here's a second black one, and I took one of the red ones. I think it just gave it a primer paint job. And threw some stickers left over for one of my models on that. And then we had all the, so when we did racing, we all had equally, you know, the same cars, except that we did this other thing where we just randomly would have one of 10 cars out there. But so each of us would have 2 of the Days of Thunder or other NASCARs. And these all basically, I mean, everything was the same. They're the 440 X2s that, you know, stuck on the track pretty darn good. Actually, we have more than 8, don't we? Do we? 4, 8. Yeah, no, so we made sure we had 8 of the same exact kind of, just, you know, different shells, different paint jobs, same stock cars. We were huge Rusty Wallace fans back then, so we had to get that one. Poor Davey Allison. And then Kulwicki, which this was why we bought these before these guys were killed. Allison, I believe, died in a helicopter crash, and Alan Kulwicki died in a plane crash. And it's just crazy. We're like, okay, we got to not buy people because they might, you know, when we buy them, they die. There's Richard Petty, and then 4 of the cars from the Days of Thunder. So we'd race all those. They're, you know, basically all the same car, so they would race pretty equal together. And then other neat cars we picked up, which is, I don't know why we got this. It just kind of, we called it the Howler because of the nubby tires. When it'd go around the track, it would kind of howl. Maybe I should hold some of these closer so you guys can see. There's the Grand National, and then the T-Type. This sucker was crazy fast. So when we'd race this, so sometimes we'd mix it up and we'd have fun with these red lights light up on the police car. So we'd use that to try to chase and, you know, smash off the other person. These were awesome. These, I think, were pretty much the fastest we had because they're just so damn tiny and light. They would just hug the track like crazy. There's a second one somewhere I thought we had. Maybe that one finally broke. Yeah, some of these got the heck beat out of them. Where is it? Oh, I think we had 2 of the same color, so I painted one. Oh, that's not it there. Not it. Huh, that's a mystery. I don't know where it is. The other one. But, there's that. We'd race these Porsches together because they're pretty equally matched. If you guys bought any sets also from this also came in one of those 8.5-foot track sets. Here's another Porsche that was similar to that one. And another Porsche. So yeah, I think 2 Porsches came in each of the sets, some of the ones that didn't have the Trans Ams in them. We'd race these vets together. And a couple of other guys had, you know, similar, I mean, the same vets, but different colors. So we'd race those. These were awesome. Those are good racers too. Then some clunky stock cars that we'd race together. These are the HP7s. They didn't have the extra magnets and top speed like the X2s, but these were pretty much the same car, but just different paint jobs. So we'd race those together, and those would match up with this Camaro, which really doesn't look like a Camaro, but it was. That was matched up with those two stock cars there. And then this was a cool Thunderbird Super Coupe. The lights light up and everything. And then just an old Chevy, too, that we'd race. And then the rest of the Tyco, we kind of kept the blister packaging for some of the special sets we bought. The old school, new school Richard Petty's. And then this, man, we would drool. We'd go to car shows back then in the 80s, you know, when these were only $100,000 back then. Now who knows what they are, the Superbirds. So we bought one of those. I mean, raced it a little bit, but we kept it in the packaging for some reason. We had our parts departments where we had all the extra differentials, rear ends, tires, wheels, pickups, track cleaning stuff. Man, I haven't looked at some of this stuff in so long. Extra motors. So if any of you guys have raced any of this stuff, you know, you probably accumulated a lot of this stuff too. Really good pair of pliers that's all rusted that I used to use for my model trains. And then, so some stuff that I ended up getting at garage sales and different, oh, here's the other Lamborghini, the paint's coming off of it. I don't know why I painted it silver. I think we had 2 red ones and a yellow one, so you can see the silver's coming off. I ended up with, I don't know, just 3 different areas, a lot of AFX, which are kind of, I think in general, they're older than Tyco. They don't run as well, but they're just still cool to run some of them. Only some of these run, but they took a lot more work of like taking apart things and actually putting the magnets in. And that I had an extra, it lost part of its motor, but I had an extra motor from a model kit I was building. So I just glued it on this thing. I don't, you know, 17, 18-year-old just screwing around. But these don't run that good, but they're still cool to run around the track. This one I still remember I bought at a Toys R Us back in, I don't know, the late 80s. And it's still in nice shape. It's a cool looking car. And a lot of these are just shells, extra shells to, here's some of, most of these swap out with those 2 I showed you. These are all AFX. I don't have many AFX working chassis. I mean, I got a ton of like motors and magnets that just, you know, I probably could take the time to work on and get them going on, you know, chassis. If I just put all the parts together, maybe I can get a couple more of these up and running. But this one's a running one too. I could tell because it has, you know, it's on the chassis. This one's actually, I think this is even older. I think this might be like late 60s. Look at those pickup shoes, where they weren't like these pickup shoes. They were these. So these, I think this is late 60s. I know these bodies are late 60s. So I think that one still barely runs like that one. I just kept all these because they're just cool, kind of somewhat of collector's items. The super old, I believe these are AFX also. Cool truck. Let's see. I can't read that bottom. Is that Tyco? Might be old Tyco. So these might be old Tyco, but I know these are old AFX. And that's old AFX. Another old truck body. Some other bodies. This is a cool looking body too. A van. And then, actually I did have a set when I was a kid, and doggone it, I want to find the tracks and work in track for it. Anybody ever remember, it came out, I want to say like in 78 or so, the Race and Chase Police set where you'd like hit a button and these things would do like a 3-point turn and go after the bad guy who says, catch me on the back. I still have the cars for it, but I don't know what happened to the track, but these were awesome fun. And there was like this little ramp bridge where you could like tip it down, so then the cop would have to turn around to go get everybody. We got our, grease and lube in here and oil. We used to do these dumb things. We call them tractor pulls. There's still coins in here. So we'd weight these little, they're not Hot Wheels, but they're little rigs. So we'd weight them. I think this is where we ruined most of our Trans Ams because we had so many of them. So we'd do tractor pulls with these things. We'd load them up with pennies. There's still pennies in here all taped up. And then we'd put the string somehow attached to the body and then tractor pull them against each other. And look at that. This one's full too still. So, yeah, just some crazy crap we would do. More, track cleaning stuff. So I will bring out the track and show all that and probably set it up and run them. But like I said, for the 1,000 giveaway, it's probably going to do something with, doing something with racing slot cars and winning slot cars. We'll pick the winners of the 1,000 giveaway. So I just thought, you guys would enjoy going through kind of a memory lane here of, cool old stuff. This one's not, of course, not running. There's no motor in it. But as I put these away, I'll kind of show them closer than I did. So I could just look up online. I think this might be Tyco, older Tyco. I know this is AFX. This is AFX. Poor thing's missing a bumper. There was one I wanted to buy. There was a white shell like this with number 11, just like this one, but it was up. The bidding was up to like $40. I'm like, no, I don't need to be buying that stuff now. If I ever got like into this or, wanted to collect some of these cool old ones again, then I would, I could buy stuff like that. But right now, especially like I said, with having to sell a lot of baseball cards and stuff, I'm not going to get into buying stuff I don't really need right now. I mean, I have plenty of slot cars, so plenty of stuff to race and have fun with and, maybe get back into this again. Here's a close-up of like the Davey Allison car. So we did tub the tires, of course, so we could take them, but there was a legal tub limit. If you went over, there was like these little like lines in between the lanes or something. We knew when you were too fat, and then sometimes you'd like all of a sudden, pop off the track. You're like, okay, pull your tires in a little bit. You're too fat. You're rubbing the other guy's tire and shooting them off. So, but we had a certain limit to tub the tires out a little bit, so you could see those are kind of out a little bit for for racing purposes. And one of the Cole Trickle cars from Days of Thunder. The Mellow Yellow from Days of Thunder. The Hardys. I love the paint job on poor Kowicki's car there. But, yeah, but I will get these all set up and maybe do a video on that, separate from the giveaway if anybody's interested. And I did run into somebody recently who used to race these because I lost touch of everybody. I lost touch with Jason, Tony, and Walt. Those are all the 3 guys and I who would race all these. But I did run into somebody the other day who was way into this stuff. So maybe we'll get these up and racing again. It would be fun because I never outgrew this stuff. Just like, all my baseball cards and stuff, they're all, it's stuff we never outgrew. A lot of the people watching the channel and who like the same cards I do, these were also things that you were way back into 40, 45 years ago. So it's, this was fun stuff, and I'm never going to outgrow it. And it's fun sharing it with everybody. So if you like this video, thank you for watching, and hope you liked looking through some of these with me. That I don't think I've opened this tackle box, and maybe it's been longer than 2 or 3 years that I haven't set up and raced these. They've just been in the basement. So you guys take care. Have a good night.